Hello everyone, welcome to this week of Somatic Sundays. I'm really happy you're here. In the spirit of what I've been dealing with my knee, which if you weren't tuned into last week, I bumped my knee on the reef pretty hard surfing, and I got a bit of a bone bruise and a bad gash, so I've really been just resting and taking it super easy. And so in the spirit of that, and I know for folks back in the United States, it's Labor Day weekend, it's the end of the summer, probably a lot of energy has been moving around, a lot of dinner parties and gatherings and all kinds of things up and up and up. So I figured let's take this entire session to really ground down into rest. And ease. And so I'm going to guide you into a deep restorative state. And so I would love for you to get whatever you need to be cozy, whether it's a blanket, it's a pillow. I have kind of a bolster pillow that I'm going to put underneath my knees. We're going to be in a Shavasana style position, so laying down the whole time. So just make yourself really comfortable and cozy. So that you can lay down for the next around 30 minutes. If you need to pause the video to do so, please feel free. If you are all ready to begin, I would invite you to come down to your back. We'll just start very first, with the knees bent and the feet flat on the floor as we come down to our backs. And maybe we want to take the hands up above into the air, interlace the fingers, and maybe just stretch through the fingers and the wrists and just roll out the hands. And take a few deep breaths, stretch side to side. Anything that feels like as if you were just waking up in bed. Maybe you want to send the knees one direction, and then the opposite for a little twist. So just as if you were waking up to the day, but actually instead, it's just this sense of dropping into the body. Notice that deep breath that comes, that sigh, that release, that exhalation. I'm going to straighten my legs nice and long. And I'm going to take a nice morning stretch, so hands are coming up over the top of the head, and my feet and ankles are kind of flexing and pointing. And just feeling that length alongside my entire body. From the spine to the crown, the tips of the toes to the tips of the fingers. Deep breath in. Just releasing, relaxing, letting go. So we can stretch a bit and pull, and you're almost creating a little bit of tension as we lengthen out in these different directions. And then exhaling, you're softening, you're releasing, you're letting go into the support of of gravity, the support of the earth beneath you. So just find any little sensations. I'm giving my head a little bit of a massage, a little scratch. Maybe I feel some yawns coming. And just anchoring into a bit of a deeper breath. Shaking out the legs. Shaking out the arms. If you feel like you have a lot of energy and it's going to take you a second to drop into rest, definitely shake out the arms, take a little bounce, maybe take the knees into the chest. You can go one at a time or both. I'm going to let my left leg stay long because it's a bit too much pressure on my bad knee at the moment. But just shake it out, release, and when you're ready, come to a fully prone position. We call this Shavasana. And get yourself comfortable. So I'm going to place a bolster under my knees for some support. You could also place a blanket or a bolster under the head and the neck if that feels good. And before we just drop into rest, make sure there's a nice even spacing between the legs, so somewhat 45 degrees with the legs splayed out, the ankles are splayed open, the feet are relaxed, and the arms come down at our sides, also at a 45 degree angle with the palms face up. And if it feels good for you, you can try lifting the shoulder and tucking the shoulder blade a little bit. And you do that on the opposite side, and you notice you create a little shelf for yourself, a nice platform with the shoulder blades just slightly together. And that generally allows the shoulders to soften and drop back as well. You can pick up the head for a moment, tuck the chin slightly, lengthen through the back of the neck, and then place the head back down. Good. Softening into this seat of conscious relaxation. I'm not going to be moving up here, so there's no need to continue to watch the video specifically, but you can simply listen as we drop into space. Before we go too deep, I want to encourage you to be your own guide and teacher here. So at any time during this practice, during the next 25 minutes, you feel the call to stretch, to move, to wiggle, to shake, to yawn, to sound, to sigh. Really encourage you to follow that intuition, to continue to make yourself comfortable. We're not creating rigidity in the body. We're finding a comfortable seat and position lying down, and we're just surrendering to the support beneath us. Deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Excuse me. Taking a few rounds of breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Emphasizing an elongated exhalation where the body just begins to melt deeper and deeper into our seat, into our state of conscious relaxation. You can feel the edges of the body, the fingertips, the seams running up the arms, to the shoulders and the neck, to the face and the top of the head, and then down the rib halves and the chest, down the back body, stomach, low back, down through the hips and the glutes, through the thighs and the backs of the legs, into the knees, the calves and the shins, down through the ankles, the heel, bottoms of the feet, tops of the feet, and the toes. You can just bring that map of the seam of the body into the forefront of your awareness. This is your physical vessel. This is the storehouse of spirit, your unique and individual personality and characteristics. Your entire history is contained within this vessel, within these seams. So we just begin to breathe into that sense of our multitudes. And with joy and gratitude, we recognize the multiplicity of all that we are, all that makes up who we are as an individual. Breathing into this sense of self, this space within. And if thoughts are coming and going, that's okay. We can simply acknowledge them and let them pass on. Anytime we get lost in story or planning, we simply catch ourselves and remind ourselves that we can be here. That there's nowhere else we need to be right now. And we can just enjoy this state of conscious relaxation. Begin to melt any tension and holding in the face. Releasing at the corners of the eyes, the forehead, the jaw, the tongue. And let the weight of your head and your thoughts and any mental activity just pool and pour towards the back of your skull. Collecting in that basin at the back of the skull, a still pool of ease and calm. Free of tension, welcoming this state of conscious relaxation. And then from the front body of the throat all the way down through the torso, again, we just melt any holding, any sense of tension or grip as the shoulders lighten, the palms get heavy. We feel the shoulder blades and our sit bones, our sacrum firm against the ground.
any frontal activity simply rivers and pours down to the back body, collecting in the basin of the back body. The hips naturally splay open in ease. And from the front of the legs, the thighs, the knees, the shins, all the way through the ankle and the top of the feet, we just release. And we watch in wonder as these minute sensations of holding and tension release simply by bringing our awareness to this part of our body. Everything pooling into the weightiness of gravity. And that weightiness pouring through the front body, through the legs, through the hips, through the torso, through the head and neck, finding its way into contact and touch with the ground beneath us. This is letting go. This is melting and sinking. This is allowing ourselves to be held by the earth. Nothing to be done, nowhere to go. We just arrive here again and again. To each moment, to our very own sense of presence and awareness. We simply enjoy the sensation of being here, nowhere else but here, in rest. We give ourselves that opportunity and that space to slow down. Anchoring into our home within the body. If there is any sensation of holding or simply any place within the body that you feel is calling for your attention or has had a hard time relaxing and letting go, I invite you to bring your awareness to that space. Instead of avoiding that space, whether it's tension or pain or simply something unknown, we're going to invite it in. And if there's nowhere that is calling to you, that is totally fine. That is great. You can simply continue to rest in this conscious state of relaxation, owning and honoring this beautiful state that we can gift ourselves anytime. If there is a space within the body that is calling, for me, it feels like my right hip. Can take your hands, if it feels comfortable for you, and just place your hands over that space, wherever it is for you. Whether it's a hip, the heart, the belly, anywhere at all. If it's a space that you can't reach, we can simply imagine and visualize your hands being placed there, or if it feels good for you, someone else's hands. And by placing the hands over that part of the body, there's nothing we're doing. We're simply letting the hands be there and using them as a way to draw our attention and awareness to that space, to say to that space that we're here with you and we're curious. We're curious to get to know what is here. Is there perhaps a story or an old injury, or maybe simply a tweak from whatever activities we were doing this week? I encourage you to spend time with that space through presence, through awareness, pouring your awareness and your attention and your love into that area. And perhaps even beginning to breathe from that space. So as if we're planting a small seed in the center of that space within you, wherever it is. And then from that tiny seed, it's starting to expand in all directions with each breath. Just let it expand. Let it create space within you. Let that breath and that light and that expansion melt whatever is being held onto there. might find that that space shifts slightly, or even completely to another area of the body. That's very common. You can just shift your awareness with whatever sensation and pulsation you may be feeling. Gravity and weightiness is our best friend here. Enjoying that receptivity from the support of the earth. Has the sensation changed at all since you've encountered it? Since you've given it your attention and your awareness? Does it maybe need something different? It could be calling for a stretch or a little bit of massage or a little bit of pressure, or simply the lightest touch and awareness. This is where being your own guide and teacher is imperative. We are building the connection of trust and understanding between ourselves and our innermost wisdom through the body. So trust your intuition, trust your feelings. If there's any sense of distraction or getting lost, it's okay. We just bring ourselves back. And perhaps at this point, we can ask that space, now that we're familiar with it, what it is, or does it have a message of any kind for us? What does it need? Intelligence of the body will speak. Sometimes instantaneously, sometimes it takes time to warm up and get to know us. My hip tells me that it needs water. And I'm just going to trust that. Continuing to hold space for my right hip, for whatever is present there. And oftentimes, the simple act of acknowledging a tension or a sensation or a pulsation or even a pain with loving awareness is enough to watch it melt away and dissipate. Don't have to start with the biggest pain in our body or the biggest issue. Simply follow what is being shown to you in this moment. Not through the mind, not through thinking, but through feeling, through being in touch and trusting yourself. Feel free to stay with any part of your body for as long as you like or need. You can also recognize the potential to switch places or simply feel complete with a space. Only you can know. And if for whatever reason there is still a sense of holding in that space, we can also allow that. I still feel a deeper internal holding in my right hip flexor. And so I'm just going to acknowledge that that's okay, that it's there. That maybe it needs more time. And it's not all going to happen right now. And that is okay. Give yourself that freedom of space, that freedom of time. Beginning very slowly and gently to wiggle fingers and toes. Sliding the thumb pads across the forefingers. Feeling a deeper breath elongate the spine. Maybe circling a little bit in the hips and the ankles. Sorry, the ankles and the feet. The head can come side to side. Moving at a snail's pace. It's as if we are waking up to ourselves all over again. Not just to this day and to this time and space, but to our relationship with ourselves, to this inner awareness that we've cultivated, and this conversation that we've begun between our awareness and the wisdom and intuition of the body. You have permission to move as slow as you'd like. Full permission to just stay resting, if that's what feels good for you. I've taken my knees bent, my feet flat on the floor, and I'm dropping my knees to one side to take a gentle twist. If that feels right for you, feel free to follow along as we move through center, up and over to the opposite side. Just enjoying that aliveness within the body, within a sense of direct connection to this vessel in which we are embodied. And perhaps taking either knee out in either direction for a reclined butterfly. So creating a triangle with the legs and the feet together. And what is this sensation of embodiment for you? What are its characteristics and qualities? By coming to name them and experience them, we further this relationship with embodiment and with intuition. And then we can recognize the states in which we are connected or disconnected. And that allows us to further this dialogue and relationship and know where we are as we move through our days and nights. And I'd like to remind you that this state of connection, calm and ease, this grounded sense of anchoring into ourselves, into presence, into the earth, is always available. It is always right there, waiting for us. It is simply sitting on the other side of the doorway of our own awareness. I encourage you to enjoy this state of connection as long as you can continue to cultivate it. After the video, find what you're drawn towards intuitively. Follow that pulsation within you
into your external space? Are you drawn to rest more, to stretch or do some yoga, to step outside, to breathe in fresh air, to grab your journal and pen and see what comes out of you, to draw or paint, anything at all? Simply enjoy this state of connection, presence, and awareness that we've cultivated. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I would love to hear how you found it. Feel free to comment, share your stories, share your experiences, share your questions. And if you enjoyed this practice and this session, it's very similar to the work I do in my one-on-one sessions, my embodied integration sessions. But we'll go even deeper into dialoguing with those pulsations and sensations within us and learning from them and alchemizing and transmuting them into more spaciousness and groundedness and more understanding. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week.